Alright, so I see that the red light is on, and as well, I am recording for the audio version of this week's episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast. I want to welcome each and every one of you back to another episode for this week. I was going to combine for talking about Impact Wrestling Emergence and being able to talk about NWA 74's Nights 1 and Night 2 to combine all that together, but I decided to actually combine Impact Wrestling Emergence with my review and actually talking about some news topics that happened since then and being able to combine all that together for this week. So last week was Emergence for Impact Wrestling and going basically head to head with SmackDown and everything. And I'm trying to get used to this because I know that it's seeming to be a recurring thing. I know they're going to be doing it for Victory Road and as well for Bound for Glory, so I don't know how I fully feel about it. As of right now, being able to watch two things at once, even though it is cool at the same time, but it can also be almost overkill when it comes to that in terms of watching two things at once. But I did do just that. I was able to watch Emergence alongside with SmackDown at the same time, and when we had getting right down into it, with the pre-show, getting into the Digital Media Championship, where we had Brian Myers in action against Bhupinder Gujjar. Hopefully, I didn't really get to butcher the name on that. Still getting used to some of the new Impact Wrestling stars that we have seen as of late, but Brian Myers was able to retain and keep his Digital Media Championship, which is cool, being able to have him deal with that and keep his title. This one with the next match for the knockouts, where we had the tag team titles on the line, which I wish this was on the main card, but we had VXT, where we had Perazo and Chelsea Green tag teaming together against Taya Valkyrie and as well Rosemary on this one. And this one was definitely surprising on how things turned about. I feel like Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary definitely had this for sure on how to keep things going, but at the same time, you had Perazo and Chelsea Green being very focused in this one, and they actually won, which is in a way surprising, but to be in a way expected on this one. So at the same time, I am happy, but also at the same time, not too happy that Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary had to take the L and loss on this one. So I'm sure there will probably be a rematch later on down the road when it comes to that. So Perazo and Chelsea Green have been really holding their own as a tag team, and even though it is cool to see them actually together and everything, so it was in a way kind of surprising that we did get to see a change with the tag team titles there. Then we had the X Division Championship on the line. Mike Bailey dealing with Jack Evans, being able to be a part of Impact. As of late, handling things on his own, definitely for sure on this one. And Mike Bailey was able to win and retain his X Division title. Where we had Violent by Design dealing with Chris Sabin and Kushida. Basically, the time splitters on this one. Could have basically went either or, but Violent by Design with a surprising win there. So definitely interesting to say the least. Where we had AAA action, definitely appreciate that. Where we had Bandito and Zoe Harris on this one, really fun stuff. And we had Bandito actually getting the win there. Then we had a no DQ and no countout match. Basically, Moose Band from ringside and Sami Callihan and Steve Macklin are basically going at it. Not just with this match, doing everything that they can to stop each other, but going into the crowd, going to backstage, and eventually meeting Moose there. So the match technically didn't really get underway. It was basically a beatdown for quite a while. Then after that, we did get to deal with an ODQ match. Basically, if Honor No More win, they will receive their chance to be tag team champions, so get a title shot. But if they lose, they have to disband and be no more, dealing with the opposing team with the Good Brothers, and as well, of course, with Chris Bay and Ace Austin and Hikuleo on that, for Hikuleo on that, and dealing with them and everything. So I was really interested to see how things would be able to transpire, and made it for an interesting matchup for sure. So Anna Nomura was able to actually get the win. I thought they were actually going to be forced to disband and be able to go their separate ways, but that's not the case. They're still holding on strong, and they are looking to be looking to get the tag team title matchup for sure. And then we get into the Knockouts title match between Jordan Grace and his Mia Yim. Really amazing stuff back and forth between the two. And really wanted Mia Yim to actually get the Knockouts championship, but that didn't unfortunately happen. And we actually saw Jordan Grace actually win and retain and be able to get to keep her Knockouts title, and Masha Slamovich actually wanting to be not only the next challenger but the face of Jordan Grace there as well. So that's really cool to be able to see that, and that should be an interesting match whether it happens at Victory Road or for Bound for Glory. So that should be something to see, and of course we eventually got around to of course for Sami Callihan and Steve Macklin to basically settle things as well. And I believe for Sami Callihan, yes, he was able to actually get his win there. So definitely makes sense on that, but still continuing with their fair share of problems. And with that, so we did eventually have an actual winner, which was good there on that. And then we got the main event, the Impact World Championship, Josh Alexander and as well Alex Shelley on this one. We've seen Chris Sabin on his side before being able to deal with the world title picture, and he was able to get the world title a long time ago. So it was Alex Shelley's time to be able to try and do the same thing. He did come close, but Josh Alexander, with the beast that he is, he was able to actually stop Alex Shelley and actually keep his world championship, and that's basically it. Everything that we did get to see and what went down for Impact Wrestling on Emergence. So again, the theme basically seemed to be having shows on Friday. So I would actually prefer them more on Saturday. I think that would be a lot more better, and having that happen, I think that would make more sense on that. So it's not like going into with another show with SmackDown being on at the same time, and then you got Rampage as well, which I watch both, and then I actually watch NWA Power on Fridays as of right now. So it makes it for hella stacked Friday, definitely for sure. But it doesn't happen far too often, but we will see it again for Victory Road, and then we will see it for Bountiful Glory for Impact Wrestling. So to be on the lookout for that. So getting into with the next set of things for this episode of being able to talk about the Triple H era, Triple H being now in charge of WWE, and as well dealing with now NXT UK most likely being no more, and now being basically rebranded into NXT Europe, and being able to talk about those two news topics as of right now, and basically getting to the first one with Triple H being in charge and everything. I think has been really cool being able to see things progress slowly but surely. We're not going to see changes basically overnight. After a while, we did get to see the return of Karrion Kross or Scarlett, so he's looking to bring back some released talent that happened to be let go. We saw that with Dakota Kai coming back with Io Shirai being now Io Sky and dealing with Bailey. So that's been really awesome to see. It's been, in a way, almost surreal to actually see him come back. We also saw Dexter Lumis basically try and actually sneak his way back in and everything. So it looks like, I feel like it's going to be paired up with Theory as of right now, since Theory doesn't really have any friends, and he's basically getting his ass beat by basically the entire roster at this point. So I feel like we will see the way eventually come back together. I would love to see that on the main roster, and to actually have Theory get the help there and be able to deal with the way again. And I think that would be awesome. He could still be on his own, but to be able to have that, extra help there and everything, and to be not only just be on their own, but be in a team every so often and everything, so they don't really have to be all fully split up. They can still do their own stuff. And we also seen that Dexter Lumis actually acknowledging Indy Hartwell on NXT. So looking to have Index still be together, which is great. I really like that. So I'm sure within time we'll probably see Johnny Gargano, but definitely for sure back for sure. That would be really awesome to see that happen. I think that would be really cool to see that as well for Candice LeRae eventually coming back. That would be really well worth it for me to be able to see that happen for sure. So that'd be exciting. I know she's been dealing with motherhood and everything, so that's been really cool with that. So a lot of really cool little details, like some wrestlers being able to actually say the word wrestling and everything. So some banned words are being able to be used now. We saw Shotzi actually getting her old theme back and everything. So I'm sure maybe she'll get her tank and everything else back. So it's been really cool to see how things are slowly being able to change with Triple H and everything, since he definitely knows pro wrestling, and it's been really interesting to see where things are actually going to be going and everything. So we also had, of course, the tag team titles with the tournament finally happening, getting underway, being competitive there. So I'm sure that Sasha Banks and Naomi are going to be actually returning and want to face the winners of that and get their tag team titles back, so they don't have to be split up or anything, and see where things will be going with that and how things will transpire on that. So I feel like basically Bailey's group is going to be able to win, and then I would like to see Sasha Banks and Naomi come back and be able to face them to see who truly deserves the tag team titles for the women's division, basically on that. So that would be really something to see. So just how it is right now, even though with the teams kind of being a little bit random and put together, but I think it'll eventually work. And to have that, the tag team division do their thing, they can even do things in the singles as well without having to split up teams. So I think that's fair enough to have that. Then again, to basically getting into the next topic, where we have NXT UK basically being able to transition into NXT Europe. I remember seeing reports like a long time ago that we might have like different parts of the world dealing with NXT, so like NXT Japan, and as well probably like NXT Mexico or something like that, and seeing NXT more spread out the world and being able to see more with that. So NXT UK, I remember watching that ever since the beginning and dealing with the NXT UK tournament and being able to see it to become its own show, which was really cool. But I didn't actually expect it to actually basically go. So it looks like with this new change that they do have, basically a rebranding, if you want to put it that way, and having it just be NXT Europe, it's going to be interesting to see if it's going to be an actual show like NXT UK or not, or just be something completely different. We do have Worlds Collide coming back, so that's really something to see. I've been wanting that to come back for the longest time now, so that's going to be something to see for sure. And that's I really enjoyed seeing the brands coming together and being able to see the different match types that come out of that. So I thought that was always really cool. So now we get to see that back. I don't know if it's going to be from here on in, but we'll see what happens with that. So very interesting stuff with that. I'm sure most of the NXT UK talent will be able to shine on regular NXT, but the main roster as well. I would like to see that. I know there are some releases out of this as of right now, with some people like the names Mark Andrews, which definitely sucks, Dave Mastiff, as of right now, just to name a few that I remember seeing getting actually released, which does suck that it had to happen that way, but I'm sure there will be other talent eventually coming in over time, and then some of the talent that has been released will eventually come back and everything. So at the same time, it does suck to see that actually happen, but also at the same time, it's really interesting, kind of unexpected a little bit to see NXT UK go through this transition. So I really enjoyed seeing NXT UK, especially after Impact Wrestling, having that cool extra hour of wrestling for me each time. So it looks like within, I want to say, the next 2 weeks, we'll eventually get to see that transition as of right now. So basically, after the quality of the show basically for Clash at the Castle, and then things will definitely change for that. So very interesting stuff. So what are your thoughts on not only Impact Wrestling Emergence, but Triple H being now in charge with all the changes that has been happening? How do you feel about that? As well as NXT UK being now NXT Europe, and what do you think is going to be happening with NXT UK with that transition? I'll be able to talk about that not only in the comment section for the YouTube version of the In the Hot Seat podcast, but as well be sure to actually tweet to me as well for the In the Hot Seat podcast on Twitter to continue the discussion as well. So with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you being able to not only just watch the In the Hot Seat podcast, but as well listen to it. So be sure to leave a subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as well leave a like, because it definitely helps support the channel as well for the YouTube side of things. And until then, I will catch you guys for the next episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast. And until then, I'll catch you guys then. See ya and have a great rest of your day.